Hello, my name is Michael Ye, attorney at Xywave. Today, I will be presenting what to expect during an OSHA inspection. I am a content attorney at Xywave, and I specialize in employment and compliance law. Xywave provides software-based solutions to insurance brokers to help them support risk managers, HR professionals, and C-suite executives looking to navigate today's complex legal and regulatory environment. Specifically, I focus on creating user-friendly resources to help organizations minimize their exposures and protect their businesses. Today, we are going to discuss federal OSHA inspections. 34 states are governed directly by federal law, while the other 16 states have state-specific OSHA requirements. While the state-specific OSHA requirements largely mirror the federal regulations, please be aware of how your specific state is governed. The topics that we will cover in this presentation are what triggers an OSHA inspection, what you can do to prepare your workplace, and best practices for interacting with an OSHA inspector. I'll also share the procedures of a typical inspection and what your team can do to avoid a citation. If a citation is handed down, I'll share best practices for responding appropriately to minimize the impact of a citation to your firm. OSHA inspections can be triggered by any number of factors. In many cases, OSHA visits are simply planned by the agency. Even companies with spotless safety records are subject to OSHA inspections. Your workplace may have more injuries per worker than industry average, and thus OSHA may feel compelled to conduct an inspection. OSHA inspectors will also show up if they receive a complaint from a member of your staff. You are required to post a notice to employees informing them of their rights under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. It is this poster that informs workers of their right to report a perceived violation. Both the federal OSHA agency and the equivalent state branches focus on specific industries or hazards from time to time. If your industry is explicitly targeted in this initiative, you are at an elevated risk for inspection. If an OSHA inspector has visited and handed down citations, he or she will return for a follow-up visit. Imminent danger inspections are OSHA's top priority. If OSHA has reason to believe workers are facing unsafe conditions that may result in serious injury or death, an inspection is immediately triggered. Additionally, if a catastrophic event takes place, an OSHA inspector is always dispatched. A catastrophic event is defined as a work-related fatality or any accident that requires hospitalization of 3 or more employees. You should always be prepared for an inspection by OSHA. This means filling out your OSHA 300 log with records from the last 5 years, making your written safety programs accessible and placing them into practice, and rectifying any previous problems identified by an OSHA inspector. Should an OSHA inspector come to your facility, it's important to have a plan in place. Greet the inspector cordially, but make sure to ask to see the inspector's credentials. You wouldn't want to mistake a workers' compensation auditor or insurance auditor with an OSHA inspector. Once you have verified the inspector's identity, find out what triggered the inspection. The reason for the inspection might help you rectify a problem before the inspection even begins. Lastly, show him or her to a private room or workspace as a courtesy. If your firm is wholly unprepared for the visit, you can request a warrant or more time. However, this is not an advisable strategy. OSHA inspections are generally comprised of 4 parts. First, the inspector will want to review your record keeping. You should have a log of work-related injury and illnesses handy, with information from the last 5 years. This is the OSHA 300 log and supplemental OSHA 301 forms. Certain OSHA standards require records concerning the exposure of employees to toxic substances in hazardous environments, physical examination reports, and employment records. You should review your current work processes to see if this applies to your firm. Safety data sheets, the medium used for providing safety information about hazardous chemicals, need to be present and available for all employees concerning each chemical used in the workplace. The inspector will see your written OSHA compliance programs along with evidence that they are being acted upon. That includes records of training, applicable medical records, and fit tests. The site inspection is to ensure that your workplace is free of hazards and employees are undertaking tasks in a safe manner. If small violations are pointed out, such as a spill or lack of personal protective equipment, correct the problem immediately. In many cases, the inspector will refrain from issuing a citation. The inspector may also take time to interview employees, managers, and labor representatives. All parties should be forthcoming and truthful. Lying or being deceitful could get the company in much more trouble down the road. There are a few other important things to remember when working with an OSHA inspector. First, make sure all managers are alerted of his or her presence upon arrival. This will allow them one last chance to make housekeeping or equipment corrections in their area. You should also assign an employee who is intimately familiar with your safety and compliance efforts to accompany the inspector. They should be able to answer detailed questions about safety measures and work processes. Again, if the inspector identifies easily remedied issues, fix them on the spot. If improvements need to be made during or after the inspection, taking before and after pictures can greatly strengthen your case. If at any point during the tour the inspector takes a picture or video, you should consider doing so also. Record noise and air test numbers as well. The inspector will likely share conclusions and help you understand the changes that need to be made. OSHA violations can range from simple citations without a fee assessed to criminal prosecution. Generally, OSHA will assign $0 amount penalties to first-time offenders as a warning. If upon follow-up inspection the problems are not corrected, the fines are much steeper. It is also common for OSHA to hand down many citations at once, which means one visit from OSHA can result in hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines. You have a number of options when responding to a citation. In most cases, the best option is to pay the citation. OSHA may offer a reduction for prompt payment if the rest of the inspection went well. If you strongly disagree with a citation or citations, you can submit a letter stating your notice of contest to the regional OSHA branch within 15 days of inspection. If you choose this path, you should be aware that you will likely end up contesting the issue in court. Many employers have been successful with an informal conference. This is a meeting with the OSHA area director and must also take place within 15 days of the inspection. During this meeting, you can challenge citations or penalties without going to court. However, regardless of the outcome, you resign your right to pursue further action in court. Most employers find this a great opportunity to make a case for eliminating the citation altogether, reducing the severity of the citation or the penalty amount, or revising the abatement. Your broker has dozens of resources to help you stay in compliance with OSHA. As new regulations are issued, your broker will be able to help your firm understand what's happening and what can be done to bring your business into compliance. Being proactive in addressing the various risks your team faces will help protect your business in the long term. As you can see, OSHA inspections are in place to make sure you and your employees have a safe working environment. Hopefully, with a little knowledge and preparation, your next OSHA inspection will go smoothly. Thank you for your time, and I hope you found this presentation to be helpful.